Hey,
Okay, stop for a minute. You found us. I want to tell you a little bit about this podcast before you jump in. My interview with Octoryia Robinson was phenomenal. She's infectious and she's inspiring. She dropped some gems. If you want to learn the importance of niching in your business, you've heard the expression riches in niches, then listen to this podcast. She explains how she made more in 2 years after niching than 5 years prior. Another gem she dropped, the importance of planning. Octoria says, a dream without research will not manifest. You must plan before you start your business. And if you've already started with another plan, get a plan quick. It's going to help you find your riches. Listen all the way to the end to get those two gems. There's another gem she drops about artificial intelligence and how you can use it in your business, but still maintain your integrity. Listen up, strap in. Octoryia Robinson. Here we go.
everyone, and welcome. We are Next Level Business Advisors, and this is Business Stories of Success. If you want to break through and achieve your own business success by learning from other successful business owners, you're in the right channel. For more of our content, make sure you click subscribe and don't forget the bell icon so you're the first to be notified when new videos are added. Enjoy today's video.
Hello, hello, hello. You're with Mark Adams at Next Level Business Advisors. And today we're joined by Miss Octoryia Robinson from Dream That Big Publishing. Hey, how are you?
Hi there. I'm so excited to be on the podcast today.
I mean, the minute I said your name, you started dancing. I mean, if you're not watching, please put on your camera, folks, ladies and gentlemen, because she just started dancing. I didn't know. I didn't know. Nice to have you.
Same. So glad to be here again.
Oh, I tell you, when we chatted before, I was like, "Oh, I'm talking to a rock star." I love rock stars. They really, they really inspire me. And I'm looking behind your head, and I see the word inspire. And now you're telling me to just go. I see the other side. Just go. All right, so let's go. Tell us about yourself. Who are you? And tell us a little bit about your business, Dream That Big Publishing.
Okay, so hi again, everyone out there. I'm Octoria Robinson. I always like to first and foremost introduce myself as a mama bear. I am a mother of five amazing kids. Now,
Wow.
my babies are bigger now, but they're still my babies. And I'm a recent grandmother of a grandson who's about to be 2 years old. So
Congratulations.
thank you. They are the joy and center of my life. In addition to all that mama mojo, I run a company called Dream That Big Publishing. It actually was birthed out of my own personal journey and discovery process of what it took to become an author that I never thought I could be. I've been blessed to be a entrepreneur for over 16 years. So I ran and led an extremely successful coaching consulting business. And then I go shift into this whole new world and market known as author or entrepreneurship. And it was tough. So Dream That Big was created to be that community, to be that resource for authors to come and be nurtured to a point of prospering. Our whole desire is we want to see self-published authors really thrive, not just with getting a book on Amazon and having one on their shelf, but having money in the bank, having speaking gigs on the calendar, having opportunities made available to them. So we are that full service publishing company that promotes the well-being and the success of all of our authors.
Okay, awesome. You sound like you have that so well in mind. I want to dive into that a little bit more if you don't mind. Because I remember when we chatted, and I told you, oh, I was an author, and you're like, yeah, how'd that work out for you? And I'm like, well, and you were like, you before you even start with someone who's going to author, you told me that you talk to them a little bit differently than most publishers would, right? Can you just help our listeners? Because I think that's really important to highlight how you guys are so unique with what you're doing.
Absolutely. A mentor of mine always tells me this, Octoria, things don't start wrong, I'm sorry, things don't end wrong, they start wrong. So
Wow.
however you start anything is how you expect to end anything. So with us, we begin with the end in mind when we work with authors. We don't just say, hey, who do you want to write to? Who do you want to affect by this book? We want to talk about, where do you see this book being? How many books would you like sold? What other streams or revenues of income or products that you see will be a part of this brand? We help them to begin to look at their story, their vision of becoming an author as a brand. And we really promote that preneur spirit in authors to understand that the moment you decide you want to publish a book, you become an entrepreneur. Even if you never intend on retiring from your full-time occupation, you're an entrepreneur because you have a product that someone in this world you want to market to, and you want them to purchase, and you want to see some types of sales take place. So we handle it as though they have a business, a product, and a vision, a goal of doing something big, hence dream that big.
I love it. I love it. And that's so, and I'm going to be honest, it's just so very different because, like I said, when I wanted to write my book, they said, yeah, write the book, and it was, and I did. And then that's pretty much it. But I didn't even go into it with the whole idea of branding and how many do I want to sell. And so that's powerful that you probably, and tell me if I'm wrong, but you expand the mind of the author almost immediately.
Absolutely. And I would even go further to say some people we expand, other people we challenge,
Ooh,
because most people only want to write and assume if I write it, the sales will follow. But the reality is, if you begin without strategy and you expect some type of commercial success, you're kidding yourself. Strategy must proceed the development of content, because not only must your content deliver on strategy, but it is the segue to actual commercial success. So we challenge that mind and say, okay, we get it. You got a powerful story. You done been through some things. You got some wisdom. You got some knowledge. But talk to me about how we're gonna sell this thing. Who are we gonna market this to? How are we gonna reach 20,000, 100,000, a million people with it? Let's think about sales from the beginning, so you don't be frustrated with sales result once you're done with the book being finished.
wow. I love it. I love it. I know it's a little unrelated, but it makes me think of Stephen A. Smith. He wrote this book. I don't even remember what the title of his book was, but I tell you, this guy was promoting this book from the minute that he, I think, set the pen down the last time. And it really was something that was interesting to me because I'm like, boy, this guy's really pushing it. But I imagine that if you want to be an author, there's got to be a better strategy than just, hey, I'll write it and write it, and they shall read it. It doesn't work that way. I'm guessing from listening to you. So now you got me all interested, and I'm going to probably hire you soon. But before I do, I want everybody else to hire you first. So tell us, how do we find you?
Okay, the best way, guys, to connect with us is visiting us on dreamthatbigpublishing.com. I'm telling you, there's a wealth of resources. My gem is this: I don't want you to hire us because you're appealed by a package. I would like to work with you if you're appealed by our purpose, vision, and mission, because we're not going to just sell you line items. We're going to stretch you. We're going to challenge you. We're going to command excellence out of you. If you want a mediocre experience and do it however you feel it, we would not be a publishing company for you. But if you want someone to work with you, that's going to collaborate with you, that's going to co-create with you, that's going to push excellence and greatness out of you, then absolutely visit us on dreamthatbigpublishing.com.
Awesome. Man, that's a mouthful what you said. I'm really excited. I'm going to check out. I looked at your website once, but I'm going to have to look at it again and again because you really make it sound incredible. As a business advisor, we're often told to write a book. That's what they tell us because we do have good advice, and boy, it would be good to get out to others. But there's a process involved in everything, and you sound like you really have it laid out. And because you have been an advisor in the past, you probably can speak to us even more closely, more than you can others. So that's awesome. You told me you were in business for 16 years.
Correct.
Awesome. So Is that what makes you an expert in your field? What makes you an expert in this publishing game?
I believe what makes me knowledgeable and credible in the publishing game is two things. Me going through the struggle, because there is no school like going through something yourself. I ran
Hmm.
for 10 years because I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe in my worth. I didn't believe in my voice. I didn't believe in the quality or the impact of my message. I ran, I ran, I ran. I was busy doing everything except something that was associated to writing a book. So knowing that mindset, knowing the struggle, knowing the fears, that gives me a special grace to really work with people who themselves run away from their dreams and their goals as an author. Second is what gives me the credibility in this is my results. Not only did I overcome all of that stinking thinking and those inner game struggles, but when I began as an author, I have had commercial success. So I'm not just talking about systems and ideas and methodologies that I've read and hope will work. These are things that have worked, and I've also seen what does not work. So I bring a lot of my own personal experience as well as my personal failures and struggles. And to top all that up off, if you need a bonus, we have a powerful team of experts. I mean, we work with some of the greatest minds, PhD level people who are here editing and reviewing, coaching, bringing out your best voice in writing. That's helping you to make sure your content is making sense for commercial success. We have an award-winning branding team. We have a very successful PR and marketing team that we work with. So dream that big is I might be the face, but I'm not the force. The force is my team. And we collaborate and we work well together. There's 4 phases to all of our projects. I'm just that first phase, and then my team takes the authors all the way down to the finish line from phase 1 to phase 2 to phase 3. They're working with them, so that would be what I believe would be our strength. I also I really don't like to ever call myself an expert, and I know that's kind of going against the grain because I am a lifelong learner. I want to forever learn. I want to forever remain humble. I want to always be open, such as like AI. That's a huge impact on the publishing, creative writing, editorial space. If I were to have deemed myself just as an expert and I've arrived, I become irrelevant in this emerging market of AI. How
Mm.
can we educate authors to utilize it in a way that will still be of integrity, still
Hmm.
promote real authentic creativity, and we're bringing the best to the market without just sounding like everyone else through the use of AI. So I love to learn. I love to lead. I love to surround myself with very smart people, and I love to just stay humble.
I love it. And so you think artificial intelligence is going to really impact what you guys do?
Absolutely. Absolutely. People, there are a lot of PR agencies, marketing agencies that are not even writing their own blogs. See, if you're not a
Aha.
person that understand voice and tone, you'll never notice when AI has taken place.
Right.
I had an interview on my podcast. She gave me the best example, and I'll share it right now. She has a twin sister, I believe, that they sound alike, they look alike, and there's only 2 people in this world that have ever been able to distinguish them if they try to fool someone
Hmm.
is their mother and her husband, my guest husband. And I said, well, why was that? She said, because even though my sister sounds like me, she doesn't embody my personality. She doesn't
Right.
embody my humor, my joy, my disposition and perception on life. So when you hear her physical sounds like me, but the identity of me is not in it. And anyone who really knows me knows it's not me. And that's how people who have been writing for years can discern in the text that that's artificially generated content, because there are some very key patterns in artificial intelligence that hasn't been worked out yet that you can identify.
Oh wow, that's heavy. That's heavy. It's interesting too because I was thinking much the same when it comes to artificial intelligence. It's amazing, but it's not nuanced yet, right? It's like there's these slight nuances like even if they're writing something that I said, I would imagine that if it really, really knew me, it would be throwing in the word right all the time because I'm always saying something and I say right, right. And then I go, after I make a point, does that make sense? Because I want to make sure that my whatever I'm explaining works. But I bet you AI wouldn't get it. At least not now.
Yeah, you'd have to train it through asking it to create enough content for you. See, AI is only this is what people don't get. AI is going to only produce what it is given. It's the quality of what it produces based on what it's given. So if you say, I went to this big conference for entrepreneurs where they were actually doing a session on AI and I attended it. He taught you how to build a whole value proposition statement for your business using artificial intelligence.
Wow.
But he had worked through so many examples of it not producing right that he understood the right prompts, the right details to give it to produce a higher quality content. But if you're just thinking, oh, this ain't gonna do anything for me, write me a value prop. I run a marketing business. It's gonna sound like 1,000 others. Value proposition, there's gonna be no identity, no unique selling point,
Understood.
any of those things there. So there's a lot of education that needs to happen in it. So as a publishing company, we're not running away from it. We're not trying to talk against it because it's here to stay. We want to learn it and educate authors how to use it and still maintain integrity.
You are amazing. I I don't think I've ever digressed this far, but I could just talk to you forever about stuff. All right, so let me get back. Let me get back. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but this was really, really powerful. You mentioned that you have a team. So what role, and you mentioned that you like to face, but what role do you play in your business? How do you see yourself in the business?
Certainly the visionary leader. I'm involved in advancing the business forward. I'm involved in inspecting and evaluating things in the system to make sure we're progressing forward. I lead, I train, I motivate, and I equip our team, but
Whew.
they lead the specific areas, such as phase one is about content creation. So that is all my editors, that's their jam. Like people will let you know that once we get to that phase, I don't have anything to do with it. And we also have a customer service management team that works from step one all the way to step done with the author. But that's what I do in the on the team.
Okay, nice, very nice. Um, this question might seem a little odd, but I don't think it is because you have obviously a wealth of experience in a lot of different areas. How did you decide on that specific line for your business? Because it's I would almost say it's niched. Would you say it's niched?
Yes. Hmm.
So how did you decide to do that?
Are you talking about the role or the way we're serving authors in the self-publishing market?
That the way you're serving the authors in the market.
Oh, I love this part. See, I don't believe in competition. Competition. I didn't come to destroy, to conquer, to dominate. I didn't come to do that. I came to serve. So before we opened our doors, what we did is what any responsible business person, whether it's a book or a service or a product, you should do your research. So what did we do? We research the best. We researched the least of them, and we looked what most would know if you have any kind of business planning experience. We did a SWOT analysis. We did the strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. We wanted to find out, okay, what is the self-publishing doing industry doing well? Wow, wow, wow. They're doing these things well. Where are some weaknesses? Okay, we're sensitive to this. And now what opportunities that match our talent, our vision, can we enter this market in more gradually, and then what are the threats should we come this direction, and or what impact will that have us moving to this specific market? So we did research. I didn't just go off of a dream, guys. I don't want to crush you, but a dream without research, strategy, and planning ain't going to manifest. You got to research. It's okay to be passionate. It's okay to be convicted. It's okay to be confident. But if you are trying to build and launch an idea without research, strategy, and planning, you are arrogant and you are doomed to fail.
You heard that long pause? That long pause was like, bam, that's just woo. I I love it. And you see my eyes starting. I'm writing notes here. A dream without research will not manifest. That
Yeah.
is so insanely powerful. And it's so ironic that so many people feel like, well, I just believe it. So I just did it, but you're right. I like what you said. So you kind of, well, you didn't kind of, you researched before you entered the market so that when you went in, you had a much higher chance of success and therefore you are successful. And that's just, I'm glad you said that. I don't think it crushes anybody. You said, I don't want to crush you folks. You're not crushing anybody. You're letting people know the real deal about entrepreneurship. And if you're going to start a business, ladies and gentlemen, and you haven't done it already, do some research. Don't just jump in the water, jump in the 15-foot pool and then realize, oh, I don't know how to swim. That's a problem. That was powerful. Thank you for sharing that. I really do appreciate that. That's like a golden nugget you gave us. So I want to ask this question, and I ask this of all my entrepreneurs. What made you decide to become an entrepreneur in the first place?
My faith. I'd always been a driven person, even from a little kid. I wanted to make the best grades and all that kind of jam. And right away I knew I wanted to have some kind of high profile job, top floor. Top floor was it for me. Like if you're on the top floor, you were a C-suite, right? So I was driven all the way up until about 26. I ended my professional corporate career as a business analyst for a multi-billion-dollar company, making
Ooh.
well over six figures. And I'm just 20 something years old. It was on up from there. But I had a moment where, I my faith just came alive, and I decided that I wanted to utilize my talent, my my heart, and my ability to help people to serve a bigger purpose than just making money. So I left the right way, of course, but I began to explore where can I be of value, where I can bring something to people who need what I have, and it's going to make this world or our community a better place. So I started serving outreach. Had never done it before, believe it or not. And from there, I think about 7 months, we were able to turn that into one of the most highest performing outreaches in the community. And people began to call and they were like, well, how'd you do that? I'm like, well, it was simple. And all of a sudden, those calls got so many that I ended up deciding I'm just host me a workshop. Hundreds of people came. I'm talking about top tier nonprofit, top tier business professionals. And I'm looking like, maybe I'm missing something. And honestly, at that workshop was the day that I launched my career as a independent coach consultant, beginning to do work with organizations to help them pivot, help them find struggles within their organization, because I was blessed with my corporate career to get a lot of professional development and training and certifications that equipped me to be really effective at problem solving and helping organizations prosper and find financial success. So it just kind of blew up from there. I mean, I've worked for NBA players. I legit, I like that one really like did me in. They
Oh,
found
what
me.
players? Oh, you can't tell names. No,
I
okay.
can't,
Ooh.
you're not allowed to do that. But trust me, I wouldn't say it if it wasn't
Ooh.
so. The my most prominent client to date that I worked with as coach consultant had a $800 million net
Whoa.
worth. Sorry, 800 million. Found
Whoa.
me. He found me at a John Maxwell meeting. True story. When the pandemic came, John Maxwell was drawn. His heart was drawn to Tampa, and he wanted to host a mastermind. It was only 11 CEOs invited. 11. How my name got included in that 11, still to this day, I have no explanation, because these are top tier 300, 400 workers that they got multiple locations all throughout the US. They are making bank, and then I'm in the room. But that's where I met him. I met a real estate company that I began to do a lot of work from. It's just been an incredible journey, like from medical to real estate to marketing to the automotive industry. I have had the benefit and pleasure of consulting, coaching, learning, building relationships with some phenomenal entrepreneurs.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. And that's some story. That is some story. I love it. Okay, so now we're going to pivot a little bit. Do you know what it takes to be successful as a business owner? There are 5 keys that every business owner has to master in order to be successful. How do I know these keys? Well, I used to say that I made them up, but really, I've learned these 5 keys in 2 ways. My name is Mark Adams. I'm the owner of Next Level Business Advisors and the host of the podcast, Business Stories of Success. In the podcast, we discuss success with business owners from around the world. We talk about what it means to them, how they achieve it, and the single biggest quality or personality trait that's needed in order to be successful. As a profitability and growth business advisor, I work with business owners around the country to help them increase profit and or accelerate growth. Now I say or because some business owners aren't properly positioned to accelerate growth. In those cases, we actually focus on honing in on profitability. If you are a business owner and you're excited about improving your profit or accelerating your growth, feel free to download my free ebook, Mastering the 5 Keys to Make Your Business Successful. It's found at my website, nlbusinessadvisors.com/5 keys. That's the number 5 keys. You can also subscribe to my podcast, Business Stories of Success. And if you're really ready to start accelerating your growth, feel free to schedule your free discovery call. We'll talk about where you are today, what your goals are, your challenges, your obstacles, and I can help you to hurdle some of the hurdles to your own business success. Join me at Next Level Business Advisors and schedule your appointment today. This is the part of the podcast that earned the title Business Stories of Success. So I ask all my entrepreneurs this: how do you define success?
I define success. I don't think I can define it personally. I believe that my success is defined by the people I serve.
Okay.
And if people are not benefiting, improving, and being elevated in their life as a result of my business existing, then I'm not succeeding. There was a point in my career in life where I used to define success by money.
Okay.
But the truth is, I have a vision. My vision is to create a nurturing community for authors to prosper. That is what success looks like. And until that is occurring, I'm still pursuing success. That is the whole reason Dream That Big exists, is to elevate authors, elevate them, elevate. I want to see authors on the New York best time sellers, all that kind of stuff. I mess up words, guys, forgive me.
It's
But
okay.
I want to see that type of success. So for me, I don't judge it based off how much money I got in the bank, how much interviews I get, how many opportunities I get. I want to see my authors winning and running things and making some serious moolah. So I believe my success is defined by the people I serve. Are they winning? Are they thriving? Are they prospering? If majority of the people I serve are in that element, we're successful.
Okay. All right. So then do you consider yourself successful thus far?
Not yet. No, we got
Oh,
lots. We
okay.
got lots of work to do. We're a 2-year-old baby, and we're learning. You know, when you're that's the thing as a business owner, guys. If you want to succeed, you got to be flexible. And see, help me. I know we preach vision so much because vision is important. It's what we lay our eyes hold to when we say we want to get there, we want to be there, we want to bring this thing about. But in order to get there, there are some pieces that vision does not spell out, and it requires you to be flexible while being focused. That means you might have to adapt. You got to remain agile. You got to be able to adjust. You got to be knowing how to shift when you need to shift. You got to know when to pause. You got to know when to recalibrate. You got to know when to pivot. And that's where we're at because we're learning. We leaped into this industry with a whole lot of research, but when you start working boots on the ground with clients, that's a whole nother level of understanding and knowledge.
Okay. All right. So let me ask you this question. You're learning this success part. You're learning, you have this goal of seeing your authors prosper. That's what's going to make you successful. What are some things that you're doing to manage this business in such a way that you are going, and I'm going to imagine you're going toward that successful journey. So what are some things that someone can extract and say, I need to apply this to myself in my own business?
The first thing we had to address is that we cannot be a package pushing company because packages don't serve our vision. They don't create a point of prospering. So in fact, if you visit our website probably about 5 months from now, you won't even see packages on there anymore. We're
Okay.
moving to a structure that supports actually collaborating, walking beside the author in a manner that leads to them building a successful book brand. If I sell you a $5,000-6,000 package today, I've got your money, but do I have your commitment? Do I have your
Mm,
dedication? Do I have your focus? I might not, but I'll have your money. And remember, I told you it's not about money for us. It's about
right.
how do we help you prosper? So we're shifting from anybody being able to buy a package to requiring authors to apply to work with us.
Okay.
Hey,
I
right?
love it.
I
I
don't went
love
there.
that.
Let me tell you why that's important. Because remember, I told you I could get your money, but if I don't have your focus, your commitment, this is not a priority. We've got to ensure that in order for us to become successful, we are connecting with the people who actually want to get the most out of what we have to offer, which is why we're shifting to an application process.
No, you know what? I mean, I completely get it. And you coached before, right? You can sell a coaching package and a person will buy it. They'll spend the money, but if they're not invested in applying, you've taken their money and you've given them some amazing advice. But when they fail, you feel like you fail. I know that's been my story. If I'm working with someone and they're not applying, I'd rather not have worked with them because I feel like I'm investing my time to make them successful. And if they're not successful, then I just failed. I wasted both of our time. So I get it. The application is it's implied commitment. I think it's powerful. I think it's powerful. And I think that's something that a lot of business owners can do or consider something similar so that they can start making their business successful, especially if they believe that they're there for a purpose of helping others. So I like that mindset. I can't wait to see your website evolve then. Hmm.
I mean, and it's definitely going to take a level of risk because you're going from being able to just see money coming in the bank because any and everybody is buying a package to elevating a higher commitment to saying, I believe in my vision so much that I am willing to be more thoughtful in who I am going to be extending my services to ensure that we reach that. So again, that may be a higher risk than some of you might be willing to take, but think about this in the long haul. Apple ain't never Apple has not reduced their prices. You know why? Because Apple understands the value of what it's bringing. Yet everyday people like you and I, people who have lower earning jobs, they walking around with an Apple phone. Why? Because if people want the value of what you bringing, they will come up. See, we got to stop coming down because we're trying to make money. We've got to believe in what we offer so much that we call people up. There's a better way to do business. There's a better way to produce success, and I will extend my hand to help you up, but I'm not going to come down to keep you stuck.
Ooh,
I'm going to only extend my hand to help you up.
ooh,
And that is what we're
ooh.
saying. We're going to take a stance in this market and say, look, I know you can go on Amazon, KDP, wherever, and do this thing on your own. But if you want a more better way, here we are to help you up. We want to see you prosper. We want to see the reason why you're writing that book manifest in the market. And that may or may not be for everyone. But again, remember, don't come down to make a buck. You'll leave people stuck. You got to extend that hand out and help them up, help them see, hold fast, know that you're so valuable, and people will follow just like they do with Apple, Nike, all these other ones.
I like that. And I want to just, if we can, just take a couple of seconds to just dig into that statement. I think it's powerful for people who are entrepreneurs, especially when we're starting out or we're not having the initial success that we think we're going to have. We start lowering our prices and giving discounts and throwing others. And while it's understandable, If you want to build a better business, you have got to set and maintain standards and only allow people to work with you who can recognize your value, or else you're going to be a low rent business. And I don't mean it in a negative way, but a low rent business. You have lower fees, you work harder because people aren't seeing, wow, this person is special. I think about what you're mentioning with the application process. You can probably cut your prices in half, get 4 times the amount of people who aren't really committed, and you're killing yourself trying to bring them to the level that they should be because they didn't really try. Or you can get a quarter of the people, but they're applying and they're hoping that you take them, and they're going to be willing to work with you and pay a good fee because they know it was hard to get in here and she must have something and she's going to make me better and I'm going to commit to it. And I hope I pass the application test so I can give her my money. I get it. It's powerful. But for all of us who are in business, it's not an easy concept to understand. But if you can make sure to set your standards, keep your standards, raise your standards, and have the people reach to your standards, you will have a better business for yourself. Did I get that right?
You nailed it.
I thought you gave it to me. Thank you very much. I'm going to ask another question. I'm going to pivot. This is one that I like to ask. What's one big mistake you've made in your business journey that we can learn from?
Not defining my niche. Probably
Ooh.
my biggest one. See, when you're dealing with a person of intellectual assets, we believe we can do everything for anybody at any time, and we the best. So I resisted niching down my services at all capacity. And what ended up happening is I became a master of nothing. I was just mediocre at a whole boatload of things. Yeah, I could dabble in this and I could dabble in that. 2 years in publishing, niching down my services and expertise, and I'm keeping it real with you guys. I made more in my first 2 years of niching down my services than I did in my last 10 years of my coaching and consulting business.
Mm, mm.
See, a niche matters. That goes back to that projects confidence, that projects credibility, that elevates people's ability to trust you because they can see that if I work with Octoryia, Octoryia is focusing on me as a published author or an inspiring published author. We cannot resist niching down because we want the illusion of being great. See, greatness is not found in doing a whole boatload of things. Greatness is found in the quality of the things you do. So quality will always deliver excellence above quantity. You've got to focus on quality, and that's what niching down my expertise and my services has enabled me to do. I can really serve entrepreneurs well. I can I can give all 20 plus years of my entrepreneurial experience and pour it in to the hearts and the minds and the lives and the brands of authors. And I am telling you guys, this thing is paying off. So if you all over the place saying I'm the one that can do this, that, and the other, I want to challenge you to find your niche. Find your niche, and it will serve you way more than you stressing and stretching yourself out too thin.
Okay. Oh, I tell you what, when you do your mastermind or you do your class, you call me because I want to come because you are just inspiring. You are really inspirational. I just love the way that you put your verbal package together. I guess that's the writing game too, but you put it in such a way that just you paint a word picture that is just powerful and you make it clear for us. I really thank you for that. I'm going to ask, if you don't mind, a couple other questions. How have mentors or coaches contributed to your success?
God has been paramount. And if I could steal a little thunder and say that's another poor mistake I made in the beginning was thinking I didn't need none. See, so many people, especially high level creatives, feel that if I collaborate, then I'm going to diminish the quality or the originality of my creativity. but that's not the truth. I'm telling you. Creativity is at its best through collaboration. Creativity is at its best through conversation and community. If you are creating alone, you are limiting what you can create. When I pulled into coaches to help me move forward, things begin to shift because they help me to identify within myself patterns of and cycles that I had created that would bring me right back to undesirable results. I was able to
Mm.
work with them and plan an action forward. Like, okay, this is what's happening. Now, here are the next steps that I'm going to do to move beyond these things because coaches' jobs are to help take you forward, but they can't move beyond where you're committed to proceed. So with
Okay.
my coaches, that was awesome. And as far as mentorships, that was me finding people who I admire. They're doing something well that I'd like to do well at or above their level. So mentors for me have been able to really stretch and expand my perception. I'm about here to recently get into real estate because I'm thinking about my next 5, 10 year goal, even bigger than publishing. And I have a desire
Beautiful.
for real estate investment. So the first
Beautiful.
thing I did, you know what I did? Got me a mentor.
Okay.
I went to that mentor. True story, guys. I told her I got a dream of helping first time home buyers get their lives straight and get to own, and just want to see the joy in their face. I'm giving her my dream. She listening. She said, "Okay, great, Octoria, but let me tell you something. Those are going to be the harder clients, and I want you to know that what we specialize in is luxurious high-end homes." And
Hmm.
let me tell you why. Because as a successful agent, you're going to have to be diverse. If you're not diverse, then you're not going to reach your financial potential that you desire. And why am I sharing that with you is because had I not had a mentor, I would have started this career with my limited beliefs that I can only serve the people I like to serve.
Mm.
What she did, she helped to expand my mind to see, October, you're telling me you got this big dream of becoming a real estate investor. If you want to get there, you're going to have to expand and become more diverse in who you serve because that is what's going to help you really take off in the ways that you want. So I have about 2 coaches and 4 mentors.
Wow. Okay. Awesome. That's awesome. Um, and I like that you mentioned how they expanded your mindset, right? So we go in things. I was speaking to a buddy of mine with the myopic worldview. This is the way I see it, and so that's the word. No, 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 no. That's just what I see. But the next person has a different view, and that's how we expand our horizons and open our eyes. So mentors, coaches, they're invaluable if you want to accelerate your growth. If you find with tinkering along one a day at a time, you can do it yourself. But I like what you mentioned about collaboration. That's what really a good mentor is all about.
Mhm.
Awesome. One final question. If you could go right back to the day before you started your business, what advice would you give yourself?
Don't start without a plan. Yeah. So many people convince I'm sorry, they confuse 2 P's when they start out. They confuse passion with planning. And passion will never substitute a solid plan. It won't. I'm telling you, because eventually, you ever hear people talk about being burnt out? They're
Mm-hmm.
not burnt
All
out
the
because the
time.
strategy didn't work. They're burnt out because the passion only has a limitation on what it can do without a plan. So I would not start without a plan. I would start with a plan so I can move towards an actual mark instead of move towards my next emotion. See, passion is driven by what we feel and how we want to feel and how we want to make other people feel. What planning is driven by vision and where we need to go and where we want to go and how we're going to get there. We need them both. But many well-intended entrepreneurs start out because I just want to help people, or I just want to do it better than you, or I want to do it different than the person that hurt me when they were leading me, or I can do it better. All that passion is great, but it will not put the type of money you want to see in the bank. It will
Mm-mm-mm.
not keep you from being stressed out. It will not. What will is a solid plan. And why that's so important to a mindset like mine is because I'm very creative and I like to call myself a free butterfly. I like to be free. I don't want to be bound by no plan. You're gonna mess me up. I'm better on the fly. I adjust well. I address things well on in the moment. But the truth is that is a lie that we tell ourselves because we don't want to take responsibility for what is required in true leadership of success, which is planning. If you ain't planning, you're not going to win. That's just the bottom line. So I would tell myself, you smart, Tori. They want you. You got something going on. But you need to develop a plan, develop a clear vision, develop the strategy, build the goals and objectives to get there.
Phenomenal. Miss Octoryia Robinson, I want to thank you so much for giving me your time today. You dropped not just some gems, you dropped like huge, the hope diamonds on us. I really, really enjoyed your conversation, and I look forward to continued watching you on your journey to success.
Absolutely. And thank you for having me. It was quite the conversation. I'm rooting for you guys and the expansion of this podcast and its platform.
Thank you so much.